Derek Hankerson with FirstCoast.tv. We're here today with Ed Slavin, an activist in St. Augustine. Ed, good morning.
Good morning.
It's my understanding that you wrote the first article for the American Bar Association on gay marriage in 1991.
Correct.
Just recently, the Supreme Court ruled that gay marriages are legal. What's your opinion?
We've come a long way. I was honored in '89 and '90 to represent a young man who was an employee of Woodward and Lothrop, who asked for equal discount benefits for his partner, and we got a victory then that applied to 30 department stores, Woodward and Lothrop and John Wanamaker, 6 states and DC. And it was the precedent that led them to invite me to write the first article on gay marriage for Human Rights Magazine in 1991.
It's my understanding that St. Augustine is considered a gay-friendly city. Do you find that to be true? And if so, how did we become a gay-friendly city?
Much friendlier than it used to be. But back in the 30s, it was considered to be an arts colony and a place of tolerance and openness. In 2005, we got a victory in federal court. The National Lesbian Rights Foundation represented Ruth Jensen and her partner, got rainbow flags on the Bridge Alliance. I was proud to do the historic research on that and to help the group win a victory on First Amendment rights. In 2010, we won a victory December 10th of 2010, amending the Fair Housing Ordinance to include sexual orientation as a protected class. Unanimous.
What's next?
Equality everywhere, housing, public accommodations, employment, education, equal treatment, equal dignity as the wonderful decision by Justice Anthony Kennedy and the Supreme Court majority called for.
How would you address those who are on the right or conservative and keep repeating that they're for traditional marriage?
Well, I would quote the words of one of the judges in the D.C. Court of Appeals in our Georgetown gay rights case back in circa 1989, said to Edward Bennett Williams from Williams Connolly and Califano, "Try tolerance."
Wow. Do we have a large gay population in St. Johns County, St. Augustine?
I'd say 5 or 10%.
That's a larger percentage than those who are minority in St. Johns County, to include Hispanics and African Americans. Actually, I think that it's the Hispanic population in St. Johns County has now increased to 6%. What do you foresee being future obstacles for those who are gay and lesbian or transgender?
I think the obstacles are falling away, and if you look at the opinion polls, people 18 to 29 years old are so much more tolerant,
millennials,
so much more open to diversity, and 80% support gay marriage, for example.
I think that's a good last question. Why is there such a difference between the baby boomers and the millennials with reference to attitudes?
Well, I think it goes back to the civil rights movement. I think you look at how people were 50 years ago and how people who were raised 50 years ago were toward African Americans, toward women, toward Hispanics. And those attitudes mirror how they are toward gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender people. And of course, in the litigation, we follow many of the same precedents and many of the same techniques that Thurgood Marshall perfected in litigation for the NAACP Inc. Fund. And one victory after another. And a lot of credit goes to Justice Anthony Kennedy, who was a Reagan appointee in 1987 and who wrote the 4 main decisions, every single one, on gay rights in the Supreme Court starting in 1996.
Interesting how times have changed.
Yes.
Well, thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too. Honored.